11 real homes now run almost entirely on artificial intelligence, and some stories are wild. Number 1. Bill Gates' Xanadu 2.0. Let's start with the OG. Bill Gates started buying land for this place in Medina, Washington back in 1988, and it took 7 years and about $63 million to finish. It's 66,000 square feet, sitting right on Lake Washington, and here's the thing that made it legendary. When you walk in as a guest, you get handed a little electronic pin. That pin follows you from room to room, and the house quietly adjusts the lighting, the temperature, and even the music to your preference as you move through it. No pin detected on the floor, and the alarm can go off. It even watches over a 500-year-old maple tree Gates loves and waters it automatically if it gets too dry. Now, to be fair, this was built in the 90s, so it's more smart sensors than modern AI in the ChatGPT sense. But it's basically the blueprint every AI home since has copied. Fun detail, though, Melinda Gates reportedly once described it as more of a bachelor's fantasy than a bride's dream, and construction actually paused for a bit because of it. Either way, this house started the whole conversation. Think about it. This was happening while most of us were still trying to figure out dial-up internet, and Gates already had a house that knew which room you were standing in. That's why decades later, people still bring it up whenever anyone talks about smart homes. It wasn't the first smart house ever built, but it's the one that made the whole idea feel real to the rest of the world. Number 2. Mark Zuckerberg's Jarvis. In 2016, Zuckerberg gave himself a personal challenge: build an AI to run his home from scratch using Facebook's own tools. He named it Jarvis after Iron Man's assistant and spent about 100 hours on it that year. Jarvis could turn lights on and off, play music based on whose taste it recognized, open the front gate using facial recognition, and even help wake his daughter up with language lessons. He used real AI techniques: natural language processing, speech recognition, face recognition, reinforcement learning, written in Python, PHP, and Objective-C, all sitting on top of an existing Crestron automation system. And here's a fun detail. The voice reading Jarvis's responses back to him was recorded by Morgan Freeman. Bill Gates even commented on Zuckerberg's post asking if Jarvis could secretly order him a burger, and Zuckerberg replied he'd build that feature. Jarvis never became a public product, but Zuckerberg openly admitted the biggest lesson was how far we still are from true adaptable intelligence. Everything he built, in his words, was still pattern recognition, not real understanding. What's interesting is that he wasn't trying to build a company here. This was literally just his personal side project, the way some people learn to play guitar in their free time. And even one of the world's richest, most technically capable men couldn't get his toaster to talk to his lights without writing custom code for it. That alone tells you how messy home automation was, even for the CEO of Facebook. Toyota's Woven City. This one isn't just a smart house, it's an entire AI-run town. Toyota built it at the foot of Mount Fuji in Japan, spent roughly $10 billion on it, and had it designed by star architect Bjarke Ingels. It officially launched in September 2025, and the first residents, Toyota calls them weavers, started moving in, mostly employees and their families. Streets are split into lanes for pedestrians, for small mobility devices, and for self-driving vehicles. Robots share the sidewalks with people, and in April 2026, Toyota unveiled something called the AI Vision Engine, a large-scale AI model that watches the entire city in real time, learning from sensors, mobility patterns, and daily behavior to understand what's actually happening and respond to it. The homes inside Woven City are essentially test labs. Whatever works gets refined and potentially rolled out to the rest of the world. Right now, there are a few hundred residents, with plans to grow toward around 2,000 people, and Toyota plans to slowly open it up to public visitors. What makes this different from every other entry on this list is scale. This isn't just one smart house. It's homes, streets, transportation, and energy all being run by the same AI brain at once. If it actually works long-term, Toyota's real plan is to take what they learn here and license it out to other cities entirely. Samsung's Rymian AI Apartments, South Korea. In Korea, Samsung C&T's brand Rymian has genuinely turned entire apartment complexes into AI ecosystems. Picture this: you drive up and a camera reads your license plate and guides you straight to your reserved parking spot. Inside, facial recognition unlocks your door. Delivery robots called Deli Pick Me and Carry Robot navigate hallways, call the elevator themselves, and bring your groceries right to your apartment door, a first in Korea. Their surveillance system automatically blurs faces in real time to protect privacy while still keeping the complex secure. And there's an app called HomeNeek that ties smart device control, parking, community bookings, and daily life services into one dashboard, already used by more than 60,000 households and expanding to other builders too. Xiaomi's human car home ecosystem. Xiaomi isn't just phones anymore. They've quietly built what might be the biggest connected home ecosystem on the planet, with close to 1 billion connected devices as of last year. Their strategy is called human times car times home, meaning your phone, your watch, your electric car, and your entire house all run through one intelligent layer powered by their own operating system called HyperOS. At Mobile World Congress this year, they unveiled something called Xiaomi Mi Loco, short for Xiaomi Local Copilot, built on their own foundation AI model. Instead of manually setting up rules like, if door opens, turn on lights, you just talk to it naturally, and it reasons through complex multi-step automations on its own. Say, I'm heading to bed, and it can lock the door, dim the lights, close the curtains, and start your air purifier without you specifying a single step. They've even opened a dedicated smart appliance factory in Wuhan, China, to keep scaling this out globally, from air conditioners to washing machines to robot vacuum. What's genuinely different about Xiaomi's approach compared to a lot of Western competitors is the price point. They're not just chasing luxury buyers, they're trying to make an AI-run home something an average household can actually afford, and it's clearly working given how fast they've grown. 6. Lennar and Amazon's Alexa-built neighborhoods. Back in 2018, Amazon partnered with Lennar, one of the biggest home builders in America, to make Alexa a standard feature, not an accessory. Every new home came pre-installed with Wi-Fi, smart locks, smart thermostats, smart lighting, and 2 actual Alexa devices, an Echo Show and an Echo Dot, all included in the base price. Amazon even sent a technician to your house for free to set it all up and walk you through it. It launched in 8 cities: Atlanta, Dallas, LA, Miami, Orlando, San Francisco, Seattle, and Washington, D.C., and it expanded fast from there into communities like Bella Cera in Florida and Enclave of Estancia near Austin. The whole point was to make buying a smart home as normal as buying a house with a garage. You didn't have to be a tech person or install anything yourself. You just moved in and the house was already listening. And this wasn't a small experiment either. Lennar is one of the biggest home builders in the entire country, so this partnership single-handedly introduced millions of ordinary buyers to the idea that a voice assistant should just come with the house, the same way a stove or a water heater does. 7. Amazon's Alexa for residential. This one's for renters. In 2020, Amazon realized that people who rent apartments were basically locked out of the smart home world because you can't exactly rewire someone else's building. So they built Alexa for residential, a system that lets property managers install and manage Alexa devices across an entire apartment complex, unit by unit. When you move in, your apartment is already a working smart home. No setup, no account needed at first. You can just start talking to it. When you move out, the property manager remotely wipes the device back to default for the next tenant. Amazon was very clear that property managers never see your personal data, and voice recordings get deleted daily unless you link your own account. Companies like IoTAS, Stratus IoT, and Sentient Property Services were the first to roll this out across apartment buildings in the US, and it's since spread to thousands of units nationwide. Honestly, this one might be the most underrated entry on this whole list because it quietly solved a real problem. Renters used to be second-class citizens in the smart home world, stuck watching homeowners get all the cool tech while they couldn't even install a smart bulb without asking a landlord. Sidewalk Labs' Quayside, Toronto. This one's Google's failed attempt at an AI neighborhood. Back in 2017, Sidewalk Labs, a company under Google's parent Alphabet, announced they'd build a neighborhood from the internet up on Toronto's waterfront, with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau standing right there for the announcement. The plan included heated sidewalks that melt snow automatically, underground robots that would carry trash and mail so trucks never had to drive through the condos, and buildings covered in sensors that would track basically everything: air quality, noise, movement, and even how public spaces changed use throughout the day. But Toronto residents pushed back hard, worried about a private company owning that much data about their daily lives. Critics called it one of the most advanced examples of surveillance capitalism they'd ever seen. Huawei's Whole House Smart, China. Huawei took a one-brain, whole-house approach with their Harmony OS ecosystem. Their system is built around what they call a 1 plus 2 plus N model. One central AI host acting as the brain of the house, two networks working together for reliable signal, and then N meaning basically unlimited connected devices and partner brands. This central AI host doesn't just react to commands, it actively predicts what you need. For example, instead of waiting for you to say, "I'm awake," it can combine your smartwatch's sleep data, the time, the weather, and your usual habits to automatically start adjusting temperature, lighting, and music before you even get out of bed. By 2026, Huawei had experience stores for this system in over 100 cities across China, working with more than 2,000 partner brands and thousands of compatible smart products. Pricing starts around $6,000 for a full setup in a smaller apartment, scaling up from there for bigger homes. And unlike some competitors who only work with their own branded gadgets, Huawei deliberately opened this system up to thousands of outside partner brands, which is a big part of why it's scaled so fast across Chinese real estate developers. Icon and Lennar's Wolf Ranch. AI doesn't just run the home, it builds it. This one flips the whole idea on its head. In Georgetown, Texas, just north of Austin, there's now the world's largest community of 3D printed homes, 100 houses, co-designed with architecture firm Big. But here's the AI part. The homes weren't built by regular construction crews, they were printed by giant robotic printers running Icon's own software platform, which uses AI to generate the architecture and then directly controls the robots that lay down the walls layer by layer, using a special concrete material called lavacrete. What used to take crews of a dozen or more workers now takes one crew and one robot, and the builders say it cut both construction costs and build time roughly in half. Each home is solar-powered, too. And here's the wildest part. Icon is now working with NASA to use this exact AI-driven printing technology to build habitats on the Moon and Mars. So the same tech quietly building suburban homes in Texas might one day build our first homes off-planet. NEOM's The Line, the AI city that never was. Now here's where it gets a little unsettling. Saudi Arabia announced The Line in 2021, a wild plan for a 170-kilometer-long linear city just 200 meters wide, made of two mirrored towers 500 meters tall, meant to eventually house up to 9 million people. It was pitched as fully AI-run, homes where robots would anticipate what you wanted for dinner and start cooking it before you even walked in. It was going to run on 100% renewable energy with zero cars. Sounds incredible, right? Except by 2025, things fell apart fast. The construction workforce got cut by 35% in April. Over 1,000 employees were relocated away from the site that July. And in September 2025, after roughly $50 billion had already been spent, construction on the line was officially suspended. The twist nobody saw coming? Reports now suggest parts of the site are being repurposed into a massive AI data center instead, cooled by seawater from the Red Sea. The AI city didn't get built. Instead, it might just power AI somewhere else. If you think about it, that's a strange kind of full circle. A project that promised to put AI inside every home ended up becoming infrastructure for AI itself, minus the homes.